Guys, I was just wondering. It's 3 in the morning right now. So excited about this fucking game today. It's like a regular season game, but it's not, you know? And you really think and you say, is this whole regime turning around? Are we really doing things the right way now? And, you know, when you go out, like teams go out in free agency and spend big on free agents and they overload on high paid price free agents. You know, it's one of those things to where you're not building from the bottom up. Like you're not starting from the bottom and moving all the way up. A lot of teams are getting high price free agents. They're just pushing just enough to where they can get some productivity, whether it's on offense, whether it's on defense. But at the same time, usually in the end, it doesn't work. A lot of teams have done it. The Jets did it, when Todd Bowles came to the league with the Jets. He revamped that whole defense. They got rid of a good amount of people, freed some cap space, and had a lot of guys in the defense. Cromartie and Gilchrist and Revis, and I mean they went out and signed a whole bunch of people to revamp that Jets defense. They had, I think, 10 turnovers the first 3 games, but what happened? Everything just fell apart. Since this whole Chip Kelly era that happened, we said our goodbyes to the players that we like the most and we love the most, and dealt with a lot of growing pains, a lot of shit that we didn't think that we'd come back from. And Doug Peterson came in, wants to bring back the culture of what this organization was in the past. Howie Roseman was out of a job last year. I mean, he was still in the front office, but he wasn't really working anything. Um, so Howie came and proved to everybody in this fan base and all the fans all over the world that he was back and he made moves and he wheeled and dealed and he got shit done. We ended up getting our franchise quarterback of the future, getting rid of dumping salaries, dumping big contracts to other teams, with us not taking the responsibility of those contracts, and didn't have to deal with it at all. And we moved up we moved up. We made 2 big moves that got us to the second pick of the draft. We got our franchise quarterback. So what we did was we went the cheap way the first year. We didn't want to go crazy. They thought that getting, what was his name? That one guy's name. I always forget his damn name. We go out and try to get some gems. We try to get Ruben Randall, pretty productive on the Giants, but didn't show no effort when he was on the field with us or ever. Just didn't really do too much for us. And then we tried, with Chris Givens, the deep threat, was on the LA Rams. Tried to get shit done with him. Couldn't do anything, couldn't beat anybody. And then all of a sudden, you saw these moves getting made one by one, and we're building not just from the starter position, but we're building from the backup position to the next, to the next, to the next, to the starters. And it's all coming together so nicely that our future in the NFC East and towards the rest of for years to come is looking very bright. And we could be one of those teams in the future where we'll always have good cap space. We'll always make the right moves. We can't agree with everything that the team does, but they do it in the best interest of the team, and we just have to accept it. And at the same time, you go out, you get Joe Douglas to be, in charge of personnel, and he goes out, and we get defensive guys. We get a bunch of defensive guys. We get Sidney Jones in the second round. We got Russell Douglas in the 3rd round. We get Derek Barnett in the 1st round. And now we got Ronald Darby as our, the number 1 corner that stood out literally the 2 days of camp that he had. And when you really see a guy stand out like Ronald Darby did those 2 days of practice, it really shows something. You can't deny talent because if a guy shines that much, the guy barely knows the playbook the first day, the second day, and he's already picking off Carson Wentz. He's already breaking up passes, and he's pretty much staying shoulder to shoulder with Torrey Smith without breaking the damn sweat. So when you have a guy like that on the field, it really makes us comfortable, not just the team, but us fans. It makes us comfortable where Ronald Darby was not a good zone corner with the Bills, and it didn't fit his play style because from Florida State he was mostly man-to-man on an island, and then went to the Bills in a zone scheme that didn't really work out too much for him his second year. And then coming here, he's going back to his roots of his playmaking ability, which is man-to-man on an island. No safety help, Safeties don't have to get nervous. The safety on that side doesn't have to get nervous because, a lot of trust has to be in Ronald Darby, and he'll go do his fucking thing. So if he makes any plays, this game today, I'll be very happy. And if he doesn't, I can't wait to see him just cover somebody. And I'm going to watch very closely what he does and then let you guys know what I think about it. At the same time, you got Derek Barnett, a guy that got 2 sacks in the last preseason game. 2 sacks, 4 tackles. To get 2 tackles, and he faced a guy, offensive tackle Spriggs from Green Bay. He's a starter in this league. He doesn't start for the Green Bay Packers right now. Doesn't start for the Green Bay Packers. He's been a starter in this league for a team or two, but really did a great job using his hands, technique, and just getting low and using a counter move to get to the quarterback. It's showing. Derek Barnett was probably the top D line in this draft, and we all have to give Howie applause for that because I think that was his pick. I think that's what he wanted, and it's crazy because he has all those ties to Reggie Wright, breaking the sack record in Tennessee, 33 sacks. Doing it since he was 18 years old in college for Tennessee. So he's a big standout. And then, this whole Mack Hollins, with Mack Hollins, the 4th rounder from North Carolina, he would play as an outside speedster wide receiver. The guy has very good speed. For his size at 6'4", has amazing talent. And scored a touchdown drive like it was nothing. Carson Wentz extended the play. Clay Matthews missed the tackle, extended the drive, passed the ball right to him. He got away from his receiver, from the corner that was on him. Put his arm out behind him, got one guy to miss, and then completely stuffed the next guy and then to get into the end zone. Shows a lot of promise, and I think this is going to be more of a successful draft that we've had in a long time. I know Sidney Jones is a big question mark, but I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think he's going to be a very, very good player. He's a very physical player. He's up in your face at the line. He's not afraid to be up in your face at the line. He's physical. He gets his hands on people. That's the difference between him and Ronald Darby. Ronald Darby, he can literally mirror the wide receiver so good because he's just so fast. Running a 4.3. This guy can run with any wide receiver in the league. And Sidney Jones could probably not do the same thing because I like corners that do different things. I know Jalen Mills is different than Darby. Darby's different than Jalen Mills, and Sidney Jones is probably going to be different than both of them. They all have different skill sets. You always don't want the same skill sets in every wide receiver. You like dynamic wide receivers. That's why we run this West Coast offense. That's why Jordan Matthews is not on this team, because he wasn't dynamic. He was a one-trick pony. Couldn't really do much. He just played slot, and that was it. With this West Coast offense, you got to be able to play multiple positions. and especially with the offensive line, you gotta have offensive linemen that can play multiple positions. Wisniewski could play fucking guard. He can go to tackle if he wanted, and he could play center. You know what I mean? Isaac Samalo, it's another guy. It's a big question mark because we don't know. Is he going to be our center for the future, or is he going to stay at left guard? I don't know. When Jason Peters retires in 2 years, you know, I could see him. I could see Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's definitely moving to left tackle, and then pretty much after that, Holly Pulivati Vaitai is probably going to take over the right tackle spot for the time being, unless we find someone that's better. But the depth is just so great. You know, we traded Alan Barber. We got a pick for him, a compensatory pick, whatever. You know, in 2018, in the sixth round pick for him, which is fine. He wanted to start on a team. He wanted to be a starter, so he went to Denver. And, you know, he probably deserves to be a starter. He didn't want to be a backup anymore. He was already seeking a trade back in January. Kendricks will probably be off this team after this year. He was already seeking out a trade, but the Eagles denied it because there's probably a looming suspension over linebacker Nigel Bradham for the shit he did in the offseason, which he's a fucking idiot. And I don't know why he, you know, punch somebody, whatever he did. He punched somebody or whatnot. So, you know, a lot of players that we have, you know, we're going to have a lot of cap. We already got $12.6 million in cap right now, which is more cap than we had before free agency. And, you know, that's very good cap space for the position that we're in with all these moves made. People are going to be bitching about the one-year deals. Oh, you fucking Eagles, a dream team and all this bullshit. The one-year deals, the Eagles have leverage. Like, see, if we gave someone a 6-year, $62 million deal, just say, you're tied into that player, and if they don't live up to that money, then you can't do anything. You can either try to trade them, see what other teams will take on that money that they're getting. That's what's hard when you overpay somebody and not know what's going to happen, which we've done that a million fucking times. But at the same time, one-year deals, we get to choose. They get to choose. The front office gets to choose who they keep next year, who they let go, and that's it. Everybody's playing for their contract next year. Alshon Jeffrey's playing for his contract. I know he'll get re-signed. Timmy Jernigan's playing for his contract next year. I know he'll get re-signed. Everybody else, I don't know. For right now, no idea. Ronald Darby's going to be with us for another 2 seasons, this year and next year. Then his contract's up, and then we'll see what happens, you know, with that. So hopefully they're smart with that because they need to be like, hey, make sure that we sign Ronald Darby. I don't think he's going to get crazy money, depending how good he plays. If he's complete shutdown and he was literally tearing it up this year, I'd say extend that shit. Maybe not this year. But if he does enough to where he really stands out, it's a great thing. It's an awesome thing. Now, the only position of need, the only position that we're totally empty at for the future is probably running back and outside linebacker. That's about it. The running back position is just, it's good for this year. That's what I could say. We have a lot of running backs. You know, with Garrett Blount, he's going to do his thing. He's going to be physical. He's going to get through the hole, and he's going to fucking get contact, and he's going to go up and get those tough extra yards that we need, especially in the red zone. I can't imagine him in the red zone. It's going to be nuts. Wendell Smallwood's still working his ass off. I hope he plays tomorrow, so we'll see what happened today. He played today. I hope he plays today and see what he's got. He's been working hard this offseason. You know, Darren Sproles, he don't need to play in the preseason games. They want to keep him as fresh as possible. And you could be very dynamic with these running backs because you could tire defenses out with your offense, and then you take out LeGarrette Blount, put in Darren Sproles, and put him on a little passing route or some shit. You're gonna tire defenses out pretty fucking quick. With all there's so much different skill sets with the running back position. You have a guy that's really small but really fast. You have LeGarrette Blount's a physical downhill runner. You know, Wendell Smallwood, he kind of goes down, and, you know, when he has to make a move, he'll make a good cut, and, you know, every running back does different things. Every wide receiver that we have does different things. So, you know what I mean? So, even with the wide receiver position, we're going to see Matt Collins, Nelson Aguilar. That's going to be the top thing. Nelson Aguilar, Matt Collins, Alshon Jeffrey, and Ronald Darby. Those are the debuts. Well, we already seen Matt Collins' debut, but Nelson Aguilar is a full starter in this game for a whole quarter. Gotta see what he can do. And I'm going to pray for the kid before the fucking game tomorrow. To wish him a really good game, and you know he's gotta get his shit together. Get a good off season. He's doing as much as he can. I mean, he's working his tail off. All right, he's doing jug machine catching. He's catching after practice. He's doing those eye coordination tennis ball, those tennis ball eye coordination catching. He's doing so much to. He's doing as much as possible so he could be ready. So this is his time to shine. It's been pretty quiet. I don't think any players want to say anything right now, but by tomorrow, I think these guys will be ready. I don't really necessarily care about the win. A win's always nice, but at the same time, I want to see evaluate everybody. Individuality. Every guy has to be accounted for what they do, and we're going to see, who's going to shine. And we've already saw 2 guys that shine that are rookies, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing to see. Derek Barnett and Matt Collins are the 2 guys that really stood out to me last preseason game. But now let's see what happens. I know no one's on the Nelson Aguilar train, and I've said this a million times. I'm not necessarily on the Nelson Aguilar train. I'm next to it. I'm guiding it. I'm not on it, but I'm near it to where I'll give the guy enough support for him to do a good job. He's on our team, and we want him to do good. We want every player to do good. We don't want players cut. We don't want players cut that we like or what's going on. I mean, Nelson Aguilar is going to be on this team no matter what this year. So whatever he does, he will be on this team unless he completely fucking really fucking sucks. But it's not going to happen. Okay, so the future is bright. By next off season, we'll have a secondary next off season. We'll have corners next off season. We won't have to worry about getting rid of players we don't like at the corner spot. We will be set at corner. Nickel corner is a different story because Malcolm Jenkins ain't gonna go to nickel corner tomorrow because it's not gonna happen. But Ron Brooks is hurt with a hamstring, tore his ACL last year. Now he has a hamstring, so I don't know. He seems a little bit injury prone to me, but we gotta see how he does. Then you go to, you pretty much after you get the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends. And then we go back to the corner situation. Even Patrick Robinson has been starting. He started outside the Green Bay Packers game. Now he's going to be inside. He's definitely going to be beat for an outside corner spot. Patrick Robinson is the third cornerback because Ron Brooks is hurt. I think Jim Schwartz is more comfortable with Ron Brooks. Patrick Robinson is just giving enough to where he can do a lot of things, and if they need to keep him this year, as depth, and they don't, and Ron Brooks is not, completely healthy, then they got to keep him. I'd say keep him because if one corner goes down, that's it. We need depth at the corner spot too. And you need depth. You absolutely need depth. So a lot of this comes in a factor, but we look so good for the future. It's great. I'm not guaranteeing Super Bowl this year. I'm not guaranteeing division win. It would be nice. I'm saying let's go to a fucking wild card game. Get at least end this season on a good fucking note this year. But it's too early to say that because now I want to win everything this year. I want this team to prove that they're not a bunch of fucking pussies the past few years. Get out of this Chip Kelly era that happened. A new regime is here, and they're doing things the right way, and that's all that matters. It's all that matters to me, and what matters to us is that they're doing the right thing. Probably one of the first off seasons where I actually said I actually liked every move they did this off season. I actually enjoyed every move they did this off season, and I couldn't be happier because they're going in the right direction. They're building from the bottom up. They're getting depth pieces that we need that can really help this team. If one guy's moved to another position or whatever, it's so everyone's got different skill sets, like I said before. But at the same time, people can play multiple positions. Okay, I know we're not. I know for a fact we'll definitely keep 5, 6 wide. We'll definitely keep 6 wide receivers this year. That's a definite. Okay, even Corey Clement, he's been showing a lot of good things. I saw him in the Packers game. He caught a pass, went inside. No, not a pass. He was handed the ball to the right. He went up. Guy came in front of him. He did a quick move. It slid his foot, went to the right, faked him out, ran right around him. Corey Clement is very nice. He's a powerful running back, but he's got those little quick juke moves, and he did that a few times and got some nice runs. So I'm happy with Corey Clement. He'll definitely be a practice squad guy, or I could see him come up if he really has to come up in a game, and for some weird reason, I could see that too. Donnell Pumphrey, they can't start him as a fucking running back with the third string offensive line because no one's blocking for him. We got to see more from him on special teams because Darren Sproles might be retiring after this year, so we don't know. So everybody's just got to take a deep breath, let it ride. Let's just see where it goes. I'm just very happy that we got a corner this year. You understand? Like, we actually got a number one corner. We got a guy that can cover anybody. We have a guy to where he's on an island. I'm comfortable. I'm like, it's not Nolan Carroll out there. It's not Lewis McKelvin out there. It's not Byron Maxwell out there. It's an actual guy, 23 years old, young as shit, and the upside this guy has to be a future star on this team, and that guy knows. He knows that we got Rasul Douglas that's gonna be doing pretty good. Okay, Rasul Douglas had a slow start, too much terminology. You know what I mean? From college to the pros. Give it a little time. He'll be okay. Okay, I'm very high on Rasul Douglas. I really am. Sidney Jones, when he comes back later this year, we have no choice. He's going to come back later this year, so we have no fucking choice. He's going to do some good things. Sidney Jones. He comes back. Sidney Jones, Jalen Mills, Rasul Douglas, Ronald Darby. That's pretty nice. I like the thought of that. So, I don't want to keep you guys up. Well, it's not live, so I'm not keeping you guys up. You'll see it when you see it. But, thank you for watching. Let's get fucking ready. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's fucking go. And by the way, shout out to Kelly Greenwings. He's an Eagles YouTube maker. Makes really good videos. I would go subscribe to his channel. He has really good footage on his channel. So shout out to Kelly Greenwings. Subscribe. Go get him. Get his subs up. All right, guys. I will see you guys later. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's fucking fly tomorrow. Let's get shit done. Let's see these guys do work. See you guys.